All right, so this is day 2 of 8.4. Day 2 is not going to be as long as far as notes, but what I want to do is I want to take the ones that we did yesterday and just kind of extend them a little bit. So we're still looking at rational expressions and simplifying. We're still doing multiplying and dividing, but you're going to notice that some of the expressions are a little uglier or a little bit more than what we did yesterday. I'm really going to focus on the ones that involve factoring. So we're going to go through, I think I should get everything done in one video rather than breaking it up today. So first of all, you want to make sure, especially now that we're doing multiplying and dividing, that if it's division, you multiply by the reciprocal. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip this fraction. Now, if you want to save space, I have had students that will flip and factor all at once, and that's perfectly fine. So for example, to factor this denominator, which is going to become the numerator, you would do difference of squares. So it's x plus 1, x minus 1. And then to factor the numerator, which is going to become the denominator, you're looking for numbers that multiply to get -8 and add to get -7. And that's going to be a -8 and a +1. I can't do anything with this other than I am going to simplify it. X to the third over x to the second, I would have 2 of the x's cancel with 2 of the x's here, so you are left with just an x. The other thing that will cancel is I can cancel the x plus 1 over the x plus 1, and that's it. So what I'm left with, again, my answer is whatever I'm left with. I'm left with an x minus 1 on top, and an x minus 8 on the bottom. And I cannot cancel any further because after that there are no more like factors. The next one is multiplying, so I don't have to worry about the reciprocal. We got lots of factoring here. So this first numerator, you can take out a 9. When you do that, let's see, 9 goes into 72, 6, 7, 8. Oh, maybe I can't take out a 9. I might have to take out a 3. Let me try that instead. Let's see. 72 divided. Oh, yeah, 72 divides by 9. You get 8. So if I take out a 9, I get x plus 8. And then on the bottom, I need numbers that multiply to get 16 and add to get 10. So that's going to be 8 and 2. The next fraction, the numerator, I'm looking at what multiplies to get -18 and adds to get -7. So that's -9 and 2. Get really good at basic factoring by the end of this today and yesterday's lesson. And now I'm going to start canceling. So my x minus 9s cancel. My x plus 8s cancel. My x plus 2s cancel. The only thing that's left is a 9. And you will have that happen where you have very little left. And in this case, you're just left with a constant. This one, again, same idea. It's just kind of a little bit bigger. You're going to, if you felt comfortable with yesterday, today should feel good. You're just going to notice they get a little bit longer. So the first thing I can do with the very first numerator is I can take out an x, which leaves me with x squared minus 4. I can actually factor that even more. I'll do that in a second. I can't really do anything with the bottom, so I'm just going to kind of write that as is. The top, I can take a 2 out. I'm left with x squared plus 4x minus 60. Can't do anything with the bottom yet. So first thing I did is I just kind of went through and took out GCFs. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a little more more factoring. So x squared minus 4 is x plus 2x minus 2 because it's a difference of squares. I'm going to kind of leave the 4x squared and the x plus 10 squared. Then I can factor this. I need numbers that multiply to get -60 and add to get +4. 10 and 6. So that's going to be x plus 10 and x minus 6. And then finally, numbers that multiply to get 12 and add to get -8 would be -2 and -6. All right, so here we go. X minus 6 is cancel. Sometimes it helps to do these in different colors. I'll show you that. So x minus 6 is cancel. X minus 2 is cancel. With the x plus 10s, one thing to notice here, I have one x plus 10 here. I actually have 2 of them here. So when I cancel, it's going to cancel one of them. I'm still going to have an x plus 10 in the bottom. What else? This x will cancel with one of these x's. And this 2 will reduce with this 4 and give you 1/2. So we got a lot of things that I canceled. So let's see what's left. What is left on the top is an x plus 2. And what is left on the bottom is a 2x, x plus 10. So I want to show you this one of how do you deal with the fact when it's there twice. If you want, you can write it twice so you can make sure you can only cancel 1 on the numerator with 1 on the bottom. If you have more than that, then you have to have the same number on top to keep canceling. this one's kind of the same idea, just some extra factoring going on. They call these level 3 problems on Delta Math, and it's because of the extra factoring. So I can take a 6 out, which gives me x minus 100. I can take a 3 out, which gives me x minus 10. I can do difference of squares, x plus 10, x minus 10. And I'm not really going to do anything with this. If you want, when you have it squared, if it makes more sense to you, you can write it twice just to kind of help your factoring. Totally up to you. We can go further with this first numerator. That's difference of squares, x plus 10, x minus 10. And then everything else is kind of already done. So I'm just going to kind of recopy it here. Lots of 10s in this problem. So when I start canceling, I'm going to use different colors again. I think maybe that might help see what's happening a little bit better. So with your x plus 10s, so I have an x plus 10 here and an x plus 10 here. Well, this is, I wrote that wrong. This is also a 10. I also have another x plus 10 here and another x plus 10 here. So I actually had 2 of them on top and 2 of them on the bottom, so they're all gone. I have an x minus 10 and an x minus 10. There is another x minus 10 that has nothing to cancel with it. I have a 6 and a 3 that will reduce to 2 over 1. And I think that's it. The only thing I'm left with on top is a 2 and an x minus 10 factor. And the only thing left on the bottom is an x squared. The only thing you kind of want to see, like, what's left. This is left. This is left. This is left. And that's it. So that might help too. If you have a highlighter, you can go through that. All right. This one also getting pretty big with our factoring. So the first numerator factors, let's see, I need numbers that multiply to get 16 and add to get negative 10. So that's a negative 2 and a negative 8. I can take out a 6x squared, which leaves me with x squared plus 11x plus, what is 108 divided by 6? Check on my calculator, 18. And then I can take out a 6, and I'm left with x squared minus 4. I can go further with this side. If you want to save space, you could actually just work right above it and say, okay, this x squared plus 11x plus 18. I need numbers that multiply to get 18 and add to get 11. That's going to be a plus 9 and a plus 2. So you can do that, and that can kind of save you space. Same thing down here. You can rewrite that as difference of squares, x plus 2, x minus 2. And then that way it's kind of rewritten and not taking up as much space. So let's start canceling. So I've got an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. I've got an x minus 8 and an x minus 8. I've got an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. I've got a 6 and a 6. What's left? So I still have an x squared, and I still have an x plus 9. And that's actually it. I don't have anything left on the bottom. So my final answer is going to be an x squared times an x plus 9. And you can distribute it if you want to, or you can leave it like that. Since there's nothing left in the denominator, you don't have to put anything, or you could put it over 1. So what happens if it has 3 factors? So this is kind of like worst case scenario as far as the number of steps. If it has 3 factors, we're going to factor all of them. Anything that's after a minus sign, you want to flip. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to factor the first denominator. That's going to factor x minus 3, x plus 2. The next one, the numerator, will be x minus 9, x minus 3. The denominator, you can take an x out. And then the last one, you can't factor, but you do have to flip it. So I'm going to put like this in bright red here. I need to flip this and make it an x plus 2 over an x minus 9 because it was divided. So now let's start canceling. This x minus 9 and this x minus 9 cancel. This x minus 3 and this x minus 3. This x plus 2 and this x plus 2. And I think that might be it. We have a 3 left on top, and we have an x plus 1 left on the bottom. So my answer is 3 on top, x times x plus 1 on the bottom. Got 1 left, and this one has a special thing in it that happens, and it doesn't happen each time, but I know in Delta Math you're going to see at least one of these, so I want to make sure you're comfortable with it. So when I factor the first one, it's going to factor 2 plus x and 2 minus x. Make sure you realize that the 2 has to come first because the 4 comes first. The next one is going to factor x plus 5, x minus 5, because it's a difference of squares. And the last one does need to flip because of the division, so I need to flip it, and I'm also going to factor. So I'm going to flip the x plus 5 on top, and the bottom factors x plus 5, and then another x plus 5. So let me start canceling, and I'll show you the one thing that makes this one special. So this x plus 5 cancels with this x plus 5. This x plus 5 cancels with this x plus 5. This x plus 2 cancels with 2 plus x. When you do addition in either order, it's the same. So x plus 5, x minus, or 5 plus x, 2 plus x, x plus 2, that cancels. Here's what makes this one special, and I'm going to highlight it here for you. If you have something on the top and bottom that are the same except for the subtractions in opposite order, these are called opposite factors. What that means is the subtraction is done in the opposite order. Opposite factors will cancel as long as you multiply your final answer by a -1. So I will cancel that, but it's going to negate my answer. So whatever answer I get should have a negative in front of it. The only thing that's left is an x minus 5. Oh, I don't want to write it in highlighter. But you have to put this negative in front of it because of the opposite factors. So let me make a little note. X minus a and a minus x, we call those opposite factors. And when you cancel them, you get a -1 result. And that's the end of 8.4. So it shows you definitely some a little more challenging ones, but it's still a repeat of a lot of the factoring techniques and a lot of the same canceling that we did yesterday.